Carl says, what portfolio tool or platform will show the price value history of options, like 52-week history of stocks? Can a day, week, or year price chart be seen? Novice question from a new investor. The answer, on PowerOptions, you can see the price history of any existing option right now, compared against implied volatility, compared against delta, compared against other things. That's in the options research tool. Let's stick with MRVL. That's what we were discussing today for Andrea. And I'm just going to go to the option chain. And let's take next week's standard expiration, the 8th expiration, standard expiration of 2023. 8 standard expirations in already. Wow. But in any case, let's just say, Carl, the at the money 57.5 call, for example. Current bid of 110, midpoint of 112, ask of 113. Very tight bid ask spread. That's very good. And Andrea, I'm going to put a note down here. I got to go back to something for you related to your stock repair in a moment, because I see something there that something in this view here, the change has triggered something in my mind. So I want to make sure that you're clear on that too. Long story short, Carl. What I could do is go to the more information button here, go to research, and go to call research. Call research tool is going to show me every piece of data we have specifically for that call option. If you sold it as a covered call or if you bought it at a call, all your Greeks, all of your in the money and out of the money ranges, percent if unchanged, assigned or not if assigned, if sold as a covered call, percent naked yield if sold as a naked call, time value of the bid price, time value of the ask price, previous session volume, current session volume, open interest, so on and so forth. Here's your implied volatility range, IV over HV, IV over SIV, total volatility range, Black-Scholes ratio, and down here you have some other theoretical calculations, the Barone 20-day, 50-day, and 100-day theoretical value, and the Cox-Ross equation as well for theoretical value pricing of the option, Carl. Up at the top, you have this chart. My default is comparing the option bid price to the implied volatility of the option. Now you had asked, can I see it by the day? No. Ours is a historical recording. We record the end of day prices. That's how our back testing and our historical tools work. It's based just on end of day, not intraday. Your broker may have 5 or 10 minute price charts on an option itself. They might not have the full history. So your other question was, can you see what the price changes was during the day? Well, we don't show that. During the month, yes, or during the year. Not necessarily. What we're showing you is the price and implied volatility. And as I mentioned, you could also look at it against option last price, delta, time value, option bid versus stock price, Carl. Since the option was released on the market, this particular August 57.5 call for Marvel Tech Group was released on the market. It looks like on May 30th of 2023. Were there other 57.5 strike calls, Carl, that were open during that time for June and July that we've already passed the expiration? Absolutely. I could look that up using the historical tools if I'm subscribed to the historical tools and PowerOptions. Not all options have been available for the whole year. And some weekly series might total only be available for 6 or 7 weeks. For example, if I go back, let's go back to the chain once more. This weekly series, let's go back to today's series. This weekly series for today's expiration, August 11th, I go to the research tool there. It's a weekly option. It only has 7 weeks of data because that's how the cycles work. This option hasn't been around for a year. The August 11th 57 call was released to the market after the weekly expiration of 6/28. 6/29 was the first day that it was trading. So all of the data that we have for that option, price chart of what it is for end of day, you can see here. Compared to against, of course, implied volatility, and implied volatility changes as well, Carl. So yes, we do offer that history. like the price history of a stock chart. As you saw, I can use the scrubber, what's called the scrubber down here below, to just look at a shorter time frame. What was the change from 8.9? Well, at close, it was $3 with an implied volatility of 0.61. Close of 8.10 is a bid of 197 with an IV of 0.53. And again, as I mentioned, if I want to compare it against the stock price, we could do that as well and just redraw the chart. And of course, as you're getting closer to expiration, since I chose the call, they're going hand in hand in this case because this call is still slightly in the money. The 57 strike call with Marvel, as we saw it around the 57.10, 57.20 strike, or cost, Carl price, I should say. Excuse me. So that's how you can do that. That's an easy way to do it. Why am I showing you this on the research tools? Because the research tool here is available to, I believe, any level of subscription on PowerOptions. Maybe not the end of day, the $45 per month. I think it is, though. But the delayed service, of course, the historical service, and the real-time service, you'll have that data available for the life of the option since the option was released on the market. Of course, it'll show you the implied volatility range over that time period as well. I'm sorry, I got to go back here. I'm just looking at 1 day now. There we go. Let's draw that new chart there. Okay. So that's what you kind of see there with those different values. Toggle between the two screens, as I mentioned. If you do have the historical tools, of course, I could just go to the chain as we did before. Oh, I'm still up on the chain. And while you're on your 14-day free trial, you have 3 months of access. So I could say, what was the price of the options? Let's just keep it at July 3rd. Okay, so let's go ahead and get the chain for July 2020. This might take a minute to load. It's much faster than I thought. So you see here on July 3rd, we have the weekly series expiring July 7th, so on and so forth. August 5th, August 18th were available, as were the 11th. But I can go to August 11th and see what the price was. This is around Andrea's price, right? 61.92, but here we are at 61.35 on July 3rd. And we can say, okay, the 60 strike was at 3.90, 3.98%. If assigned, if I did this as a covered call, was 4.6%. And now I can just go, Carl, and hit next day, and next day, and next day, and just scroll through to see what was that 60. Oh, dropped a little bit here. Dropped down to $3 because the stock fell to 59.81. And then I can go to the next day and the next day. Or again, just go to the current chain. Use that, oh, sorry about that. Use that more information button there. That was the 60 call I just looked at. Go to research, call research, and there you have the price history. Again, this is for options that currently exist on the market, that are currently trading right now that have not gone past expiration. Once we go past expiration, come Monday, I should say, Carl, at about 9:40, 9:45 Eastern time, you won't be able to look up this August 11th 60 call or the August 11th 55. It'll be out of the database. It's no longer an actively trading option. It's a historical trading option. To see prices of historical options that have already passed their expiration, you would need to be on the historical level of service there, which is the $100 per month. It gives you everything that you get on the delayed data, plus the historical data and back testing, which goes back about 6.5 to 7 years. So I could look at options in 2020 and their price history using the historical tools, which I can't do now once it's gone past that line, once it's gone past expiration, Carl. All right? So those are the two ways you can do it, with the historical service or using the call research tool for options that are currently trading. And yes, I should have left that up. I didn't. Let me see if I go back to the option chain. Good. So to answer your other question, I'm sure this is one of them. January 19th, 161 days away. There we go. We'll just use the 57.50. We'll go to research. We'll go to call research. This option has probably been open for a year. It's been trading on the market for at least a year because MRVL, Marvel Tech Group, offers LEAP options. That's probably why it's taking so long to load the data. At the same time, right now, we're doing all of today's closed data into the databases and the servers. So it's loading up all of the files, and that's why it takes a little bit longer. Actually, for a leap, yeah, it's usually 2 years out in time. So this was released in October of 2021. So the 2024 January series was released in October of 2021. We already saw in the chain, or that drop-down selection, the 2025s are already available. They were released in 2022 of October. This October, 2023, 2 months away. Well, 2.5 months away. But on or around October 1st of 2023, you're likely to see the January 2026 series come out for MRVL. So you always have those 2 years out roughly of leaps as we start to enter and get closer to 2024. And I could just narrow it down to a year. What was it from 1/1/2023, using the scrubber down here, to 1/1/2022? That's the price action of this leap option over the course of that 1 year period for the 57.5 strike I selected. So you can look at it that way too, Carl. So that's how you can do it with the historical tools or with the option research tool. Easiest to link from it from the option chain, but you can also link to it from your portfolio as well.